Hi, everybody. Guess what? We are going behind the scenes again. We have had so much fun. I don't know if this is your first behind the scenes or if you have enjoyed some of the other ones, but we have been taking you behind the scenes with the winners for a couple years because we realized how much information was out there. We would have this great reveal of who the winners were. And it was, I want to say quick because you had a lot of winners to cover. But we realized there was so much to share. So well, fresh your memory real quick. This is an annual contest. I really encourage you to enter. There are 5 judges. We have one judge that puts all the entries together. There are different categories. There's color transformation, home staging, vacant, occupied. There's redesign and decorating, rising star if you've been in business less than a year. There is a team category if you'd come together with a couple peers. So there's a lot of opportunities to enter, and we really do encourage you to. I jokingly say I can guarantee you won't win if you don't enter. So based on the number of entries, we had so many this year. We have a couple winners in a few of the categories, but we don't know who the winners are. And you don't have to be a member of the DSA. Anybody can enter. You will get bragging rights if you do win, and you'll be highlighted and featured just like we're doing today by taking you behind the scenes. So behind the scenes right now is going to be with our home staging vacant category. And if you are in the business or you're just curious, that's why you're listening to this presentation. Vacant is intimidating because it requires inventory and how you go about it. So I am super excited to bring one of our winners to you today. This is Allie Milus. Allie, tell us about yourself. And she's been in business 7 years, guys. So whether you're a rising star or been in business, some of people have been in business a lot longer. So Allie, tell us a little bit about you, where you are, and how you got started.
Hi, Sandra. I am so excited to have won this award. I'm actually pretty shocked about it. So I'm thrilled, and thank you so much. This was, so I've been in business for 7 years. It's been a journey trying to figure out what my niches are and what my strengths are. I've had a warehouse for 5 years now, and I recently just moved into a bigger one. So I'm feeling I needed to try that because I know that I can grow more with having a bigger space that allows me to get the right inventory for clients. And but I do a lot of color and decorating as well. So actually I do that more than staging.
So you're in the Michigan area. Tell everybody where.
Yeah, so I'm located, I live in Canton. My warehouse is in Plymouth. So this is right on the outskirts of Ann Arbor in the Metro Detroit area.
So I like to be sure and point that out. So if you're in that area, feel free to reach out to Allie.
Yay.
So Allie's going to take us behind the scenes. And I have to say, when this before popped up for the panel of judges, I'm going to actually take you behind the scenes with what the judges said, or we felt, or we were like, scratching our head or confused. But we all kind of made a comment like, this is so typical. This is, you see this in so many houses before. So Allie, this was a new client?
Yes, yep, brand new client. Actually, she got my name because I had staged another condo in downtown Ann Arbor, and this was in the same building. And that one sold right away for over asking. So she got in touch with that realtor, and then she called me. So and this was a completely different type of condo. So it was very interesting, totally different strategies for staging to sell.
Versus the one you had done in that.
Right, because the other one was right on Main Street, and that was the view, that was the focal point, that was everything. Yeah. This one is almost the opposite, where the view, it's a building of a lot of neighbors right across. So trying to get them to keep their eye inside and looking at all the amenities that the condo has without them perceiving a negative, looking at the brick walls, not too far away.
Yeah, yeah, that's not listed as one of the selling features, the
Right,
neighbor's brick wall.
right, right.
So this has been on the market for a year and a half.
Yes, and they were taking it on and off. They didn't know what to do. And it was also a declining condo market as well. So they
Mm.
were getting a little nervous. So she was hoping maybe we could use some of her current furniture that was in there. And I said, it really needs to be lightened up. We need just to get lighter, brighter, a neutral color story. And what we started with was the kitchen. The kitchen you almost didn't even see. It was,
Yeah.
kind of hiding in the shadows in the corner. And it just didn't, and the fireplace too. Like it just wasn't shown as a focal point. It was just kind of hidden.
Well, and we talk about so much about, square footage, architectural details, and views. And like you said, if you didn't have a view to work with, you really needed to focus on some of those architectural details.
Absolutely.
And
Yep.
guys, that's a really good point that Allie just made about the classic color story. You have to work with what you have, and the floors, they are a color. So you're not going to rip those out typically. So that's a really good point, Allie.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I know you. Okay, let me take you back. So there it is, the before. Here is the after. Oh my gosh, Ellie. We
Well, it
and
was,
we did go back and forth like that, just so you know.
yeah. So that little table to the left, like she had some cool stuff. So the things that because I know she really wanted to be involved with the process, but the majority of the things, her bar stools were perfect, and that little table was kind of like a hand built and she bought it from an artisan at the Ann Arbor Flea Market. I mean, I'm sorry, the Ann Arbor Art Fair, which is much more high level. And that jar with the faux flowers were hers. So she was really thrilled that I made that kind of like the focal point of the living room sitting area. They like it when you can use their stuff. Even was a vacant because everything else left, but we wanted to try to use a couple of her things, and it worked out really well.
I
Um,
love too what you did, Ellie, right here. Guys, this is a good tip for you by bringing in that tall, you have that height and that textural feel of the plant. And it gave a room divider at the same time, giving you interest and that feeling of life, that organic feel. I'm assuming that is a fake tree, is it? Or is it?
yes, yeah, that's both plants, and it was because of the slowing market for the condos. I didn't know how long it would be on the market. Even though she lived nearby, I felt I didn't want to burden her with, watering plants, and I didn't want to have any kind of water dripping and, damage
Yeah.
the floor. So we kept it with the faux plants. And that was also to kind of show it, because I didn't put a dining room table where, like in that space where they had theirs. I wanted to put the round one, and I specifically chose the round one from Cord and a white one, because there's so many sharp angles in the condo. I wanted to soften it, and I
Great
wanted to
point.
put it by the fireplace to make that like a destination for just, casual dining, cozy dining, intimate, just an intimate space, and to give a nod to the fireplace, which was kind of hidden as well.
And
Um,
it does, that's a good point. It feels way more inviting, that circular, that curve.
yeah,
Um, we talked about this in a couple of the other behind the scenes about how smart when you have the opportunity to break up that linear overload. In fact, let me highlight it. Do you see the lines that are created in the flooring, even the
mm,
walls? I mean, even the trimming, the grid lines, the mullions in the windows. I
right,
mean, there's a
yeah,
lot of linear, so that is such a great way to break it up.
right, right. And then, and even with so like this living room window, we put shears there, just simple, the one to the left, yeah, right by the chair, that
Mhm.
one. So we put shears on those to soften it and maybe give the living room a little bit more of a formal look, and maybe, and also to kind of keep it separate, but also to soften the view of the brick. Whereas with the sliding door, we didn't want to, they're going to see the neighbor, then we don't want to be hiding anything. And also that table that those plants are on, I also sort of wanted to show that you can also have a table this length in this space for a dining table, so that they could just see scale and size and what can fit. So it wasn't just for the plants, it was also to kind of show if they wanted a rectangular table, even though that one isn't wide enough, they can just kind of get an idea from the length of it that you could also put a rectangular dining table in that space if
That's
they
a
didn't
good
want
point.
the round one in the corner.
So tell us a little bit. So the homeowner, you had mentioned that before, homeowner really wanted to use some of their items.
Right. So, and they were just too dark, too dated, or they weren't up to, they didn't feel refreshed. And for Ann Arbor, it can go a lot of different ways with Ann Arbor, but we weren't sure who was really was it gonna be an older couple who were, professors at U of M, or was it gonna be, a family? But we just felt it just needed to be light and bright regardless, and just more neutral of everything.
And
So,
that's what's so nice about consultations is you get to tactfully, say these things. So Allie, I love that Court was your resource. Do you have them sign the contract with Court, or how does that work for your business?
um, I think I actually signed the contract because I wanted to make it as easy as possible for them. And I know that that's a risk, but I completely trusted these people. I felt very comfortable with them. And I didn't want to give them another hassle of having to, deal with Court. And I just felt I should do that. I wanted to do that. And it worked out great. And I told them I'm using them. This is my first time using Court because I didn't have the right sofas, and I didn't want to be using my inventory just because I had inventory. It had to be the right inventory for their condo. And just the neutral sofa and chairs and the round white table. They all worked really well. That's what it needed, and thankfully Court had it. And so I felt good about making the decision to partner with Court for that.
And you had made a comment, and this was such a good point, and that's I really wanted you to hit on it. You weren't sure in the beginning if you were going to paint the cabinets.
Right. That was actually our very first thought, because the cabinets didn't look that great. So we're like, gosh, should we just paint them white? Everyone's painting them white. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. And what was crazy was that I said, you know what, you need a backsplash. Let's just start with that. With the price of the condo, having just a simple, white subway tile backsplash will really up the game in the kitchen. It'll be, aesthetically and functionally a good investment, and add value that way. But once that white got on there, we could not believe how much better the cabinets looked. Like those cherry cabinets looked so much more expensive. They really looked much better. We were shocked.
And
So sometimes it's not the thing you think needs to be painted. It's the neighboring elements that will change the color. So, and that's exactly what happened.
So right off the bat, guys, Allie has just said two things that I think are so insightful when you're dealing, you're trying to gain that know, like, and trust factor. Is she basically said, let's wait. I don't know that we need to spend your money there. You can almost see clients breathe, because you're giving them permission to kind of catch their breath, and we don't need to spend your money if we can make this look with this better with this first step.
Right.
And oh, and the other thing you said, which is falls in that same category, is Allie has this big warehouse. She's got inventory, but just because you have it, yeah, the goal's always to use what you have, but the goal was really to put the best items in there. So the
Yes.
fact you did that, I think just right off the bat lets them know that you've got their back.
Yes. Yes. And I tell them that. I said, I'm not going to use my stuff just because I have it. I will, it has to be right for your home. Um, and yeah, they feel really good about that. And they feel really good when I say, let's do one thing at a time. And we don't want you to spend a lot of money. Nobody wants to spend money when they're moving.
Yeah.
So let's see
Here,
how
here.
little we can spend. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they really feel good when it sells quickly. So
Right.
here's a look back at the before and the after, and I'm gonna make sure we're minimized here so we don't get in your way. What a huge difference. So, and this was what Allie sent in for the contest, but we thought we would give you a few more. Here's an up close of that kitchen. What a huge difference.
Oh, it was amazing. And we changed the cabinet pulls. We just did black, to bring the black element, black color up, um, for the different levels of just the visuals. You want to have the connection with the colors. And that was fun because she didn't, I wanted to have the much taller pulls, but she didn't want to put two holes in the cabinet. And I totally understood that. I said, let's find one that has like one hole, but it's longer.
Yeah,
And
it
those,
looks better.
yeah, yeah. And those really worked. And it added black up higher to the skyline zone. Am I saying it right?
Well, what it did too is I love the way your eye tracks. So you've got this, I mean, and I'm assuming this is probably Uba Tuba, and we see that so much in condos and spec homes. But by adding that black element right here, it really did make your eye track it. And Allie,
Yeah.
did you paint this? You did,
And
obviously.
so I said, what color is your trim throughout the condo? And it was paper mache by Benjamin Moore. I'm like, we have to define the footprint of the kitchen. So, and we have to just make a statement like, hey, I'm here, I'm not hiding. So we painted it just the same color as the trim, and I couldn't get over how much taller that
I
island
know.
was, just because there's not a contrast. Your eye isn't going with the contrast with the trim and the wall color for that island. But
And it also talking about the
connect,
tracking,
yeah,
that makes such a huge difference.
yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, and then there was only one other, and that, yeah. So then, um, that's an IKEA print that they don't make anymore, and I love it, and it worked so perfectly because again, it's the tracking. It's bringing the white up higher. And then the black countertops is now connecting with the fireplace, and the cabinet doorknobs, and then that's also why I wanted black chairs and a white table to do the black and white color story with the green pop color.
And notice how Allie picked the perfect size art. She filled 2/3 of that space. If this trim had not been there, she probably would have lowered it. But it was almost like that was made for it.
Yeah, that was like, oh my gosh. Um, when we put it up, I'm like, that's perfect. I wasn't sure until you put it up there.
Good.
So that really worked. That worked out well.
I made Allie, I wanted to include this because this was something that she just showed me when we were getting ready to take you behind the scenes today. But what a great Instagram post, making use of her expertise, her knowledge. But it's a great little statement with one image. And it talks about, I know that she knows color now. I know that she sells homes. There's a great way for her to be able to market herself with one slide.
Yeah. So and I need to do that. I need to post stuff.
I know
But,
we're all a little
again,
guilty.
yeah, well, learning the base, I'm a DSA alumni, and truly learning the fundamentals. I You guys taught it how we need to do it, and having just the rule. It's that there's rules. I mean, it's not just how we want it. There's actual rules of design and color, and I learned that from the DSA and from Joanne Leonard Weary. So, and see, it works.
It works.
Yeah.
So this is just another shot. I just wanted you to see the tree, how cool that is, bringing the outside in.
Yeah.
And I also, these are the details. What a great way to continue that color story. But I love how you just gave a simple little setting. I always say, we're not hosting a dignitary for dinner. We don't need, three wine glasses, 1,000 pieces of, flatware, but
Yeah.
the simple way to set the stage.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty minimal when it comes to accessorizing, maybe sometimes too minimal, but I think it's just, again, we're just showing, that it can fit three people, but just have the elements of the right colors at the place settings. And yeah.
So tell us about this. I think this, if you have not started using mood boards or design boards, this is a perfect example of translating what Allie just did. So tell us kind of how you went about putting this together and what your thoughts were.
So this was sort of, I mean, I was, thinking obviously the white, black, and green color story with the cherry um, prior to staging, obviously to pick everything. But it wasn't until after the staging that I really had fun just choosing the pictures that told the story of the staging. So it's a post staging um, mood board, concept board, showing all the elements that were used to make up the staging and how they all go together.
This is
Yep.
a great marketing tool. Even after the fact, by pulling this together, the only thing missing is Allie's logo in the corner.
Ah,
Uh,
yeah.
Y'all don't forget to put your logos on
Yeah.
everything. But this is a great way to, keep that top of mind awareness when this homeowner sells their house quickly and they go to the next home that they buy. They're going to think about, gosh, I would love one of those, whatever you call it, boards. They may not even remember. I had a client, they'd say, that board, or is it a piece of paper, or is it, it was like, it's a mood board or design board, whatever you want to call it, but brand it, and then it just keeps you top of mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Allie, thank you so much for taking us behind the scenes and sharing, all the details. And one thing I don't know that we hit on was the budget. What was the budget for this space?
Well, the staging itself, oh gosh, I think it was around 3,600 because we did, the upstairs. There was two bedrooms, two bathrooms, and it was a heck of a climb up to get there. It was 2 stories up just to get to the level, but then getting there, it was all these stairs outside.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
man, and it was probably one of the hottest days in the summer. I felt really bad for these guys. I was afraid of a heart attack.
I know. I took a new assistant with me on a job one time. It was 4 stories, had no air conditioning, and I turned around and we were. I mean, we're both workers. I mean, we want to get this in and out, get this job done. And she looked at me and she said, "I'm going to have a heat stroke if we don't stop for a minute."
Yeah.
So the next day, she brings one of the little fans that you can plug into your phone, and every once in a while, she would just fan herself.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it really kind of was. Well, guys, if you're in that Ann Arbor area, any of that location, reach out to Allie. I'm sure she would love to help you sell your house. Connect with us on the Decorating and Staging Academy. In fact, check out Allie's listing on the directory. This is an opportunity. You don't have to be a DSA alumni. This is a great way to get your name out there. All of your social media links are linked It's a direct link. You can write a little bio, pop a picture in here. Just makes it easy. Join our groups, the decorating and staging group, the real decorators, and reach out to us if you are interested in any classes, or check out our resources and our vendor pages. And we appreciate you joining us for this webinar. Thank you, Allie.
Thank you, Sandra and the DSA. I am so honored for this award. I'm really, thank you so much.
All right, guys, have a good day, and check out the other behind the scenes.
Thanks, Sandra. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.